So I watched episode 3 of For All Mankind. It's called All In, and boy is it.
Black hole sun, won't you
The
come?
massive dust storm has obscured both landing sites. Years, even decades of planning comes down to this moment.
The show just runs at a breakneck pace, and it is fantastic. This show is already, the best sci-fi show on television, but it just continues to bring it on all fronts. I mean, the drama, the way the scenes are stitched together. I keep saying it on every episode. This show really gives you a sense of a very textured, multi-layered world that you can walk into and be one of those characters you're watching on screen. We've been following these characters now for 3 decades within the world of the show, and it just feels like every time you see them on screen now, these characters feel lived in. I mean, it's kind of weird to say that about characters. You feel like the world feels like it's lived in, but there's all kinds of storylines that are at play. Ellen Wilson's character, she's the president. She beat Bill Clinton to be the president. I mean, okay. Essentially, what this episode is about is going all in on getting to Mars a couple of years sooner than, initially planned by both the United States and the Soviet Union, because this private company, Helios, they announced that they're going to get there in 94. And because of that, all the United States and the Soviet Union programs have to push themselves to get there 2 years sooner than they planned. And that obviously presents a lot of engineering challenges, a lot of hurdles with regard to training, making sure you have all the resources you're going to need once you're there on Mars. I mean, it's a 2-year journey to get there, and therefore, it's a 2-year journey to get back. So if you go to Mars, it's not like you're going to the moon. I mean, you're gonna be there a while, and you're gonna need a lot of resources to last you a while. So what we in the present day are thinking, and anybody who's thinking about going to Mars in the real world today is thinking of all those same considerations. All that stuff, all the supplies, a lot of that stuff that you don't have to carry with you necessarily when you send the manned mission, that should go there beforehand. So that way it's there, you confirm that it's working, functioning, it's present, so that when the humans get there, all of that equipment is already present for them to survive with. Going to Mars is like a 4-6 year one mission. It doesn't just happen like you launch to the moon, you're there in a month, you spend a few weeks or a few days, you come back. It's a lot more complicated than that. And I think when you watch this episode, if you're not a big space nerd like I am, this episode of For All Mankind really helps you grasp the complexity. I'm so invested in this. There's all kinds of intertwining storylines. You're getting the Cold War back and forth, and the KGB gets involved in this episode. I'm not going to go into the details of it. It's basically what you'd expect a KGB to be doing. People are recruiting talent away from each other, like the Helios guys are stealing talent away from NASA. The bridge of the Helios spacecraft going to Mars looks straight at like a proto starship bridge from an episode of Star Trek, essentially. I'm not the first one who's going to say it. I've heard other people say about this show. It feels like this show is building up to become the world that led into the canon of Star Trek, like that the trajectory of the space program in this world is what leads us to the future that Star Trek and Gene Roddenberry dreamed up for us. And that's fantastic, because as a sci-fi fan, obviously Star Trek is something any sci-fi fan knows, and this show is on levels, I think, where storytelling wise is as good, if not better, than anything that you're gonna see in space-based sci-fi programming ever. And at the same time, it is paying homage to a lot of other sci-fi that has come before it. There's all kinds of like small callbacks, and now the show itself has been running long enough, it's got the pedigree to refer to its own past, and basically do a lot of small character-based payoffs to storylines and story arcs and character arcs that they've set up over the years. I mean, they have a 2-year spoiler warning, they have a 2-year time jump in this episode. All of a sudden we go from like, okay, we got 2 years to get our shit together, to launching to go to Mars. Each of them taking their unique starting points, and they're off to the races, and they're gonna get there probably within days or maybe weeks apart. Who knows? But hey, that's what we're gonna find out in the next episode, I'm hoping. This show, I believe it's got 8 episodes, 8 or 10 episodes. It's not one of those things where we're like 5, 6, 7 episodes in thinking, wait, they're still on Earth. When are we gonna go to Mars? Are we gonna just like fast forward through that whole process? No. This show, 3 episodes in, we are on our way. We're gonna see them get to Mars pretty darn quick in terms of showtime. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see where the next episode goes. I'm excited to see where the rest of the season goes. I'm actually trying really, really hard right now not to look at the episode descriptions and name titles, because if I look ahead, I'm afraid I'm gonna spoil it for myself. And I'm really enjoying watching this show week to week. So I can't wait for the next episode. Episode 3 was fantastic. It feels like each episode is building on the last one and continues to get better, better, and better. So I'm looking forward to it. For all mankind, yeah, best episode of the season so far. It's the best sci-fi show on TV today. Can't wait for more.